As a marketer, you have a lot on your plate. You have to find new prospects, turn them into sales, and figure out what's working for your company and what's not. While the challenge is great, marketing automation makes this easy. Welcome to the world of SharpSpring's marketing automation. SharpSpring Marketing Automation is a suite of tools that enables you to engage potential customers through their entire life cycle, from generating the lead to closing the sale. All this while being able to see what's working and what isn't. Generate more leads and know where they came from, whether by phone or by form. Nurture leads who aren't ready yet with intelligent email, and focus your sales team on leads who are ready to buy. You can know exactly what leads are interested in, when to reach out, and you can prove marketing ROI with complete end-to-end campaign tracking. Knowing all this, optimize your ROI by filtering what doesn't work and doubling down on what does. All this lets you focus on and achieve your goals, while SharpSpring's marketing automation takes care of the rest. Sign up today for a free demo. Stop running campaigns and start having conversations.
Fantastic. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending where you are in this lovely world of ours. A warm welcome from ourselves. I'm going to start with myself. My name is Armin. I'll be your host for today. And I'm the founder here at V5 Digital, based in Windhoek, Namibia. Those that have been signing up and have never heard of us or Namibia, we are a country in southwestern Africa. And with me on this webinar, which is we're going to call the Revenue Growth Platform, and Tim will talk all about the Revenue Growth Platform in a minute. I've got my lovely colleague, our Customer Success Officer, Aina Ilunga, and co-host. So Aina is based in the harbor town of Walvis Bay along Namibia's Atlantic coast. And we also would like to say hello and a warm welcome to Tim. Tim is our keynote speaker from SharpSpring and based in Gainesville, Florida. And especially warm welcome for Tim because he had to get up real early. It's like 6 a.m. that side to be with us this morning. So warm welcome again to Aina and Tim, and to our audience, to our delegates. It's amazing to have you all on board. Thank you for registering. We will promise it's going to be an action-filled webinar today. We have about 55 minutes or so we should be done just before 1 p.m. local time. And with that, I would just like to quickly go through our agenda. So who's V5 Digital? We are a full-service digital marketing agency. I'm not going to detail into all of our services. We are passionate about mostly and everything digital, and you're more than welcome to reach out to us either during this webinar or afterwards if you would like to know a little bit more about ourselves and how we can help your brand or business transform to the power of digital. And we'd also like to just say thank you to all our tech partners on board today. Rocketseed, the email signature and branding solution, Salesforce, the world's #1 CRM, and last but definitely not least, SharpSpring, the revenue growth platform. And as I was alluding to earlier, Tim is actually from SharpSpring and will take us through an amazing revenue growth platform session today. With that, I would like to hand over to Aina.
Hello, as Armin said, I'm Aina Ilunga, Customer Success Officer at V5 Digital, and I'm just going to do a little bit of the housekeeping today. This video will be recorded and you can view it later on Facebook if you would like. Which I think you should do, like watch it 3 times, even if you can, watch it 4 times, be an overachiever, watch it 5 times, okay? As also, I would like to let you know that please, if you hashtag V5 Africa on Twitter only people, please come to the dark side, which is Twitter. And if you hashtag V5 Africa, you can stand a chance to win a V5 diary that you can see on the screen there that says "In digital we trust," because the world is going digital. And next, let me introduce you to my friend. I can't say my friend because we're down like that. Tim, take it over.
Well, thank you guys. Thank you very much for this opportunity. So as you guys can see, my name is Timothy Pogge. I am the product specialist supervisor here at SharpSpring. I have officially been with SharpSpring as of today for 5 years. Today is my 5th year anniversary. So Armin, you actually picked the perfect day to have me as a guest. We're not just celebrating my anniversary, but we're also doing a webinar together. So two birds with one stone, correct?
Wow, great stuff.
Yeah. So my team has a lot of different roles internally, and we'll get into the application in a second, but my team wears a lot of hats internally. You know, we work with our product team as they are rolling out new features. We work with our marketing team to help communicate those features. We train internal employees so that our onboarders and our customer success teams understand how the software is supposed to work. And then we work directly with our sales team to help them show off the application, and then work with our partners like Armin and the V5 team to walk through the application with prospective partners or to implement. So we're a lot of hats internally, and I'm really excited to be here.
Perfect, Tim. Will stop sharing from my side so that you can just take our delegates through your the amazing customer journey slides which you prepared. And so over to you. I'll keep quiet, and we will chat up in the cruise, as they say.
Sounds good. Now, can everybody see my screen? It should say SharpSpring, the revenue growth platform.
SharpSpring revenue growth platform. Okay, sorry.
All right, good. Well, thanks again, Ina and Armin, for having me. Again, I really appreciate the opportunity to be here today. I'm really excited to dive in and walk through what SharpSpring has to offer, what our solution is, and what it actually means to be a revenue growth platform. So let's get kicked off. First, I want to start just with the partnership, as I think it's really important to understand the role that V5 Digital plays with SharpSpring. So why did V5 partner with SharpSpring? One reason is that we're specifically built around agencies. SharpSpring has recognized that there are thousands of small and medium-sized businesses worldwide that need a revenue growth platform, that need the technology that we offer. But unfortunately, a lot of those companies don't have the resources to manage a solution like this. And that's why we specifically partner with agencies such as V5 Digital. Our solution is empowered to help agencies build this around their customers so they can be more successful for their customers. I can say that for the last 2 years, I think, I personally had the privilege of working with Armin and the V5 team. We've worked together to help implement marketing campaigns. We've demoed the software together. We've worked together to help strategize on how to make V5's vision for their customers become a reality. And it's this type of strategic partnership that makes everything work. Again, I don't think that SharpSpring would be who we are today if it wasn't for our agency partners like the team at V5. So again, I just want to say thank you to Armin and Ina for having me, because this is really a great opportunity, really excited to be here. So let's get ready to dive in and get into the presentation. But again, just wanted to kind of set the stage there and understand, why does Tim and the SharpSpring team work with agencies? What is this? I don't know. What are we talking about? So that's where we started at here at SharpSpring. We built a solution to work with partners so that they can employ it for their customers. So first, what is a revenue growth platform? I think that's important to understand. So the reality is that companies today use a host of various digital tools for their businesses. People use Unbounce or Instapage for their landing pages. They use Gravity Forms for their form builders, Zoho for their CRM, Calendly for their booking tool. And all of these are really great tools. But the issue is that those tools are not connected. Those tools are not natively connected and are not purpose-driven to work together. And for this reason, we've built a solution like SharpSpring. This is really where a solution like SharpSpring kind of steps in and picks up the pieces. Our solution is purpose-driven and purpose-built to work together. Our software obviously is one tool rather than a dozen, so we have a singular point of contact that our partners can work with. We have a singular billing system so that there's not a whole bunch of confusion around that. And because all of our tools are built together, we can confidently say that we are compliance friendly with things like POPI Act or GDPR, CASL, also here in the United States, CAN-SPAM. So it really empowers us to be more effective as a platform because everything is together. Everything is working in the same forward-looking motion. So I like to think there are really 3 key benefits to a revenue growth platform. In fact, if there's nothing else the audience takes away from today's presentation, I want to leave you with this specific piece. I think this is important. So our solution is built to empower you to drive more leads, convert those leads to sales, and then optimize your spend and understand how your marketing initiatives are leading to new sales. That's our goal with the revenue growth platform. Our goal is to help you from the top of the funnel all the way down to the end of a sales cycle. And once you have those new clients come on board, so that you guys can then check to see how your various marketing initiatives are starting to impact sales. Now, that's generally been kind of an issue when you're looking at these various solutions that we just looked at. You're not able to necessarily tie every marketing initiative to a new client that is on board with you. And so we've tried to bridge that gap by creating a solution that is seamless. And I think as we go through today's presentation, you'll really start to see how those pieces start to fit together. So when we talk about driving new leads, there's a number of different tools that SharpSpring has that empowers our partners and our customers to do that. So we have integrations with Google Ads and Facebook lead ads. You can track your various marketing initiatives and campaigns within our solution. You can host your blogs within SharpSpring in order to help attract more leads. You can leverage dynamic landing pages and forms to push those leads into the solution for future nurturing campaigns. And for those folks who don't convert, we can leverage SharpSpring's retargeting solution, SharpSpring Ads, in order to drive them back to your website. And we'll take a look at SharpSpring Ads in a little bit more detail here in a few moments. Now, once we have been driving those leads, we have more tools that help in the middle of the funnel. So here are a few of the features that we can start to use to nurture those leads down the funnel. SharpSpring's tracking code enables our partners and our customers to modify content so that our content on the website itself is more targeted to a visiting individual. We enable dynamic list segmentation. So we can look at all the individuals that are living in our CRM and start to utilize custom and system fields, web engagement, as well as engagement with things like forms or chatbots to begin to dynamically segment those individuals into different types of lists, as well as in our different automations. We can also score our leads, utilizing our lead scoring solution that enables us to leverage both our fitness rules as well as engagement rules to start to understand where is a lead at within our pipeline. Is this a colder lead? Do they have a lower lead score that we may need to nurture a little bit further? Or is this a hotter lead that is ready to get with one of our sales team members and ready to have that one-to-one relationship with? Once we have all of that, it's time to look at closing and finally getting those leads over the finish line. So as I mentioned, SharpSpring CRM will help enable your team to manage each sales opportunity, communicate with our customers and our clients with our Smart Mail and Sales Dialer, which are inbound or 2 tools that we have built out in the system for communication. We can automate task assignments, automate emails, automate internal notifications to team members, as well as tools like our activity feeds so that your sales team can be up to date on when and where your prospects are engaging with your content. So our tool, as you can tell, it has a lot of various applications. Now, today, Armin and I and Ina have talked through, and we think that there are probably 4 or 5 key features that we really want to hone in on. And that's what I think the bulk of my presentation today will be going through. So I'm going to try and speak slowly. I was talking this through with my wife last night. I was showing her everything I built, and she said, "Tim, slow down. You talk too fast." So I'm going to do my best to slow down because that is
okay,
not a strong
I'll
point.
also let you know if you're going a little too fast. I'll be like, whoop, 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 whoop.
Pump the brakes there, Tim. You are firing through this. I tend to get excited, and when I get excited, I talk more quickly. So I'm going to make a mental note to slow down. And Ina, you can be here to keep me in check. So thank you.
Yes, we'll do.
All right, great. So talking about the key features, I like to think about the various key features, and I like to start my process. Whenever I really talk about our application more generally, I like to start my process at the top of the funnel, right? Now, I keep saying things like the funnel, what I'm looking at is the marketing to sales funnel, right? So at the top, it's very broad, very wide, and then it gets narrower down towards the bottom. And that's kind of like what we're looking at right now is kind of that marketing to sales funnel, right? So what we see is we're driving leads, we're nurturing those leads, and then we're closing those leads. And so it helps us funnel those people down to becoming the next client, the next partner, whatever that may be for you and your business. So when we are going into these next few slides, you're kind of going to see that that same concept. We're going to start at the top of the funnel, and then we'll work our way down all the way to the end of the day and looking at sales, close won, and reporting. And the first thing we're going to take a quick look at with our features is going to be our integrations with social media. So just as a starting point, SharpSpring has native integrations with Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter, right? We're going to see this kind of built out into a couple of different places within the application. The main two that we're going to focus on, though, are going to be our content calendar and then our social listening. So first, let's look at the content calendar itself. So this is our content calendar in SharpSpring. Now, obviously, this is a slide, not actually live in the application. I decided to go with a slide today because I don't know what our marketing team has planned, and I don't want to give it away too early. But anyway, this is our content calendar in the application. Now, the content calendar really is meant to be a tool to help your entire team understand the various marketing initiatives that you have going on. So what we're going to see here is everything from bulk email sends to blog posts that are being scheduled, to posts on social media, whether that is one of those 4 platforms. So this solution, and this piece of the solution anyway, can help your team, A, understand all the various marketing initiatives, but also plan accordingly. If I can see that, for example, tomorrow, SharpSpring has a Twitter and a LinkedIn post, then I might share a bulk email send that goes on to expound upon that same topic to some of our partners, right? So I can start to plan out my marketing initiatives and my marketing outreach efforts because all of my different pieces are in one place. And that's really what the content counter gives you that ability to do. So creating content and creating a new social post is easy. Now, everybody sees on the left-hand side of my my dock here, we've got the create option. When we click that create option, we're going to get a modal that asks us what we want to create. And the first thing we're going to say is, well, in this case, we'll create a social post. And then we'll get a pop-up modal that looks like this. So we'll see our different platforms, SharpSpring's Facebook, SharpSpring's Twitter, and SharpSpring's LinkedIn is what I chose for our example. But we click whichever platforms we want to connect with. We put in our marketing message, and then we tie in our content. Now, we can also tie in campaign tracking. And I don't want to get too much off the rails, but I will explain campaign in SharpSpring real quickly. I keep using the term marketing initiative. In SharpSpring, the term campaign, we use that to refer to a marketing initiative. So, and when I say that we can tie in campaign tracking, what I mean is that we will refer to anyone who comes from this source. In this case, our post says, are you tired of patching your tech stack together with duct tape? Check out what a revenue growth platform can do for your business. Check out our white paper on how email automation for small businesses can help you today, right? So that's my content, that's my post. We've uploaded content to the system so we can check to see who engages with it. We're now sharing that content across social media, and we're going to assign a campaign. So anyone who converts onto our website, into the CRM, we understand that our social media post is what drove them to us, right? So understanding the channels is really impactful and going to be really important so that as you go on and continue to bring on new clients, you can understand, well, what sources are driving those clients? What efforts are being effective? And that's going to be really, I think, at the end of the day, what starts to make SharpSpring the most powerful. So back on track, though. What we're doing, though, is posting this content to social media. So we've got this posting to 3 different platforms. We put out our message. The next step in the process is to get that post scheduled. So we can either post that to go live right away, or we can post it for a future time and date. And you'll see a modal pop up like this that enables you to schedule that out for the future. Now, I am an admin in our own SharpSpring environment. So one thing that you don't see is that I have to request to get approval for this post. However, if they were wise, they would require that I have approval to post on our social media. So you can have that ability, though, to post on social media and to require that a team member has the authority, or you can just enable team members to do it. Although can be managed and done within our solution. Now, the other half of this integration with social media is obviously we have the ability to create content. The other half is now the ability to listen to content. And so we've created what we call the social listening functionality as well. Now, the social listening ability is for Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter. And what we're going to be able to do is create listening feeds that enable your team to understand how people are communicating across social media. So in SharpSpring's case, we have set up a number of different listening feeds. We have set up listening feeds for our competition. In fact, you can kind of see that as one of the tabs here at the top. You see the competitors tab. So SharpSpring has actually specifically set up listening feeds for Marketo, for Pardot, for HubSpot, an ActiveCampaign. So we can see how they're communicating on their social media. Let's say, for example, that HubSpot put out a tweet and it said, check out how marketing automation can help you. Well, SharpSpring has marketing automation capabilities. So that's certainly a message that we would want to echo. And maybe we can utilize that same hashtag to start to draw that attraction over to our own website, to our own forums and our own chatbot to get people to engage with our brand, right? So the listening application enables you to understand how people are communicating and utilize your posting capabilities to be more effective. And so here we can see that SharpSpring has also set up listening feeds for our customers. You can see that inside Track Marketing, Exposure Creative, and my favorites, V5 Digital, are all currently being listened to on our social media platform. So there they are. In fact, they were talking about our V5 Africa conference. So they were out posting that. We had set up listening, and we can actually see that on our own listening feed right in our own application, which is really cool. And I really thought how exciting that was when I went to create this slide. I said, oh my gosh, perfect timing. I captured it right as the moment was right. So the listening feed, though, is really cool. And it really does represent the flip side of that coin, right? You have on one hand the ability to create content, on the other, the ability to listen in, to start to engage with that content, whether that's liking a tweet or retweeting the tweet, responding to a comment in Facebook or something along those lines. All right. So social media, really top of the funnel. This is a tool that we can leverage to start to attract attention to our brand and to drive them to our websites. But Tim, how else does your platform help us? Well, that's a great question. I'm really glad that you asked. The next feature that I would really want to highlight is more of a middle of the funnel feature. And this is SharpSpring Ads, our retargeting solution. So let's just talk about why retargeting and really what retargeting is. Some of you may be very familiar with this concept. So if I'm speaking to you and you're like, Tim, I know this, I apologize, but bear with me as we explain it for everybody else. Retargeting gives us the ability to really, when we say retargeting, it should be digital retargeting advertisements, right? Retargeting is a shortening for it. But retargeting really gives us the ability to look at those folks who have visited our website and not convert and get back in front of them. So one thing we really know is that only 2% of people who are visiting your website that come from maybe an organic post or something along those lines, only 2% are likely to convert. That means the overwhelming majority of those folks who have clicked from your ads and have found your site organically or whatever that may be, those folks aren't converting. However, these are the folks who your call to action has already been successful for. They've clicked to your site. So we know that these are individuals who are interested to some level or another in what your brand has to offer. So we really view these folks as low-hanging fruit. These are the individuals that we want to get back in front of and be able to reshare our message, to rebuild our brand, to continue to enforce our brand, right? I know that branding is a really important thing in a lot of different industries. And I like to, when I talk about branding, because I don't think everybody understands branding really. When I talk about branding, I like to utilize the example of Xerox. So, from in the 80s and 90s, whenever you wanted a copy of something, you didn't ask somebody for a copy. You asked them for a Xerox. And that's because for years, Xerox branded themselves so well that they were essentially synonymous with the topic of copying. However, today we don't ask for a Xerox anymore. We ask for a copy. And that's because they've stopped branding themselves. They stopped reinforcing themselves as essentially the arbiter of all things copying. And that's super important. So a solution like SharpSpring Ads can help reinforce your brand, because what we do is we look at those individuals who come to your website, but then have not converted. We get back in front of them with advertising across Google's network, across Microsoft's networks, across Facebook and Instagram, as well as with hundreds of smaller networks that you probably have never even heard of, tools like PubMatic or AppNexus. So it expands your reach beyond your traditional digital advertising solution and really enables you to reach people where they engage. And that's really the opportunity for businesses here, right? Retargeting enables you to get in front of those folks who've engaged previously, but have bounced. That is our opportunity here. That is what provides the value. And that is where we will see ultimately some wins with our solution. So again, retargeting is going to be a middle of the funnel tool that enables us to look at those people who've visited the website. They've taken our call to action, but they have not converted. This enables us to get back in front of them, to share our brand, to offer specific targeted content, because we understand where this person has engaged with us, what they have been looking at, and what, based off of that behavior, is important to them as an individual or their organization. So with retargeting, you should see lower CPC, you should see higher conversions, and overall better outcomes. All right. I told myself I was going to talk more slowly. I think I'm doing okay. Aina, give me a check. Am I doing okay? Am I talking too quickly?
No, you're doing very well. Take a sip of coffee, relax those throat muscles. You got this. You got this.
Thank you. This is why I'm so glad to be here with you specifically, Aina. All right. So why SharpSpring Ads instead of other applications? And that actually is the easy answer here. It's because it's fully integrated with the rest of our system. There are some great retargeting solutions out there. Some of you may be familiar with some of these platforms. One of them is AdRoll, for example. They're great softwares, they're great solutions, but again, the approach is the everything being connected, right? Everything is tied into one another, and it provides a more holistic approach to marketing, and a more holistic approach to sales. So because SharpSpring Ads is part of our solution, we'll see this tie into things like campaign reporting, looking at that ROI that we talked a little bit about earlier, and that we're going to look at a little bit in a few moments. Being able to report on ROI, being able to utilize this for lead scoring, being able to tie this into the automation engine, which we're going to take a look at here as well. Being able to tie this into list segmentation, and also look directly at a lead record and see when they engage with an advertisement. That is a power that you're not going to have with a standalone solution. And again, everything I say today, I never want to decry any other software. I think all these softwares have a lot of value. I just think ours is more valuable because of all of the different pieces. All right.
Agreed.
Well, you're a little bit biased, so I've been singing your praises all day. All right. So the next key feature that I want to take a moment to review is the contact record. And, I really like to think of the contact record as the modern workstation. I think when I first made that comment to Armin, he was like, what do you mean the modern workstation? I said, well, let me explain. Bygone are the days of spreadsheets, missed opportunities, and sticky notes. We are moving into the 21st century, and we're doing so in style. So as I said, the modern workstation. So for the contact record, this is really the hub of data storage within SharpSpring. This is where I think our sales team probably spends the most of their time. I know that our marketing and business development team spend a lot of time, and I know that I personally spend a lot of time. So what are we looking at here? Well, we got a couple of things. Now, on the left-hand side of your screen, we should see all of your kind of system standard fields. So this is where we're going to store things like phone number, email address. And actually, we're looking at an actual contact record from the V5 instance. So I took the liberty of blanking out the email address and the phone numbers. I figured Friedrich would not love having their information blasted everywhere. So I blocked that out. But still, this is where we can see things like contact information. We can see organizational information like their account. We can see their buyer persona. One of the things that you'll be able to do with SharpSpring is you're going to actually create and assign different buyer personas to different prospects to indicate what type of clients they might be, right? So if you are for example, working in the insurance industry, for example, you might be looking at a number of different types of clients, and you both have B2B clients, but also B2C clients. You do insurance for businesses, you do insurance for private individuals as well. Well, those may be two different types of buyer personas, right? We want to make sure that we are leveraging what we know about these people to get the right message to the right person at the right time. So our solution enables you to create buyer personas around your various contacts and prospects in the software. We'll also see over on the left-hand side, the lead score. So I talked about that lead score a little bit a few moments ago. We can actually see directly in the solution what that lead score is for this individual. In this case, we're looking at 158, and you can see it's red or orange reddish. So this person's starting to heat up. They're starting to get to a point where they might be ready for that sales relationship. We'll also see here that we can do video calling. We can see that we have been able to successfully tie their contact record to a social media profile in LinkedIn. We can see the video call option. So we can actually launch video calls that are similar to a Zoom directly from the contact record. Now, from the contact record, we can also do things like log our phone calls, log our notes. We can create tasks for ourselves or for team members. We can utilize our built-in email builder to send one-to-one emails to prospects. So this really becomes a holistic workstation. And that's why I call it the contact record, the modern workstation. This is your workstation. This is everything you need as an individual representative for your team or as a supervisor to understand how your team is communicating and what they're doing. So we see 4 different tabs here, and we'll take a quick look at those. First is the overview tab. That's what we've been reviewing thus far. The next tab that we're going to see is the custom fields. Custom fields are incredibly important. SharpSpring obviously starts you off with system standard fields. These are fields that are kind of standard across industry. But we want our partners and we want our clients to be able to leverage the solution regardless of what vertical people work in. And because of that, we've created the ability to create unlimited custom fields at your lead level. And so we'll start to see that living underneath that custom fields tab. This information may seem relatively straightforward, right? Lots of people let you do custom fields. Our custom fields tie in throughout the solution. There are data points available when you're setting up lead scoring. The custom fields are also able to be leveraged when you're building lists and you're segmenting your audience. The custom fields can be leveraged in our automation engine, which we'll take a look at in a few moments. So the custom fields, while relatively simple in theory, are also really, really powerful because of how they integrate with the rest of the software. Now, as you're creating the custom fields, the next stage is you're going to say, well, I need to understand the life cycle of my customers, right? That's what everybody really wants to understand is the life cycle of their customers. And that's where the next tab comes in, the life of the lead. And, when we were talking about the name for today's event, one thing that I thought was really, really powerful was visualizing the customer journey. And when I talk about visualizing that journey, I think this is the ultimate tool in SharpSpring to really help us visualize this. So the life of the lead is a linear representation of every point of engagement that we're having with prospects, right? So from the time that they first come in, and maybe they visit your website, they fill out a form to learn more about you. Maybe they are imported in a list. Maybe they have come through and engaged with a chat bot that you've empowered through SharpSpring. Whatever that mechanism is, the life of the lead helps us do that. It helps us visualize that. So we'll see everything from form fills to media engagement, communication from your team, marketing emails they've engaged with, web visits, meetings that have booked, and all this empowers your team to understand each relationship and how those relationships have led to where we're at today. In fact, we can even in the life of the lead capture social media engagement to some extent. So this really does empower your team to see cross-channel engagement with your brand and to empower your team on how best communicate with folks. Now, the final tab in the contact record is the memberships tab. The memberships tab really gives you a similar engagement that you see with the life of the lead as far as what content is there, but it gives it to you in a different format. So here we can see all of our form fills, all of the leads, historical sales opportunities. We'll see all of the automations they're members of, lists that they're members of, campaigns that have helped you make that connection with them. And it's these campaigns that are how we start to understand our ROI. Again, I think I mentioned earlier, campaigns in SharpSpring is what marketing initiatives are making this connection. Well, this helps us understand which ones are driving these folks into our funnel. And in the in the memberships tab, we can check all the campaign attribution and get a better idea how this individual has been connected to us. And I think that's important, this individual. We should really be looking at all these folks as individuals, not as just a bulk list of thousands of people, but as individuals with different needs for their organization or for themselves personally. All right, next feature that we're going to talk about. We're getting close, guys, I promise, bear with me. The next feature, we're going to take a quick look behind the curtain and take a look at the automation engine. This is really what powers SharpSpring. And the automation engine, there's a couple of different components. We're going to take a look at one primary piece, and that's the visual workflow builder. So SharpSpring's automation engine is built on a system of triggers and filters. A trigger is an initiation point, right? This is what starts a new sequence in our automation engine. We call these workflows in SharpSpring. After a trigger, you also have the ability to build in a filter. A filter allows for the branching logic, right? So if this occurs, that's our trigger, and this is true, well, I want them to go down this pathway. If this occurs and this is true, well, I want them to go down this pathway. I want them to get a more unique experience based off of what we know about somebody. So filters enable that branching logic. And in the example shown here, our trigger is a form fill, right? So open trigger, when a contact fills out the form, contact us at any time. That's our trigger. Now, we can filter based off of custom fields, page engagement, form fills, lead score, etc. In our example today, we have two pathways. After the form is filled, we'll look at two filters. And the first filter is a combination filter. If someone fills out the form and they have responded that they do want WhatsApp for Enterprise, but their lead score is 249 or less, that person isn't going to be sales ready. We're going to put them into a marketing focused drip sequence, right? So in that case, they're going to get this type of email sequence where they get an email. If they engage with the email, they branch off. They now get a task for a salesperson to reach out. If they don't engage, they continue to get to the next email. We wait 7 days, we send them another email. Now we send them another email. If they engage with it, we branch them off. If they don't engage, we continue down our nurture flow. However, if they, for example, said yes, they want WhatsApp for Enterprise, but they've got the higher lead score, or they have visited our service page 3 times or more, we're now going to say they're sales ready, right? This person is ready for a one-to-one relationship with a salesperson. In that case, we're going to first assign them a lead owner, right? So we see that at the very top, assign lead owner using the round robin system. Then we send the lead owner an email notification. So now that person knows I have a new lead that's assigned to me. After that, we create an opportunity in the pipeline. So the system will do all this for you, right? We just tell the system what do we want to do, it does it for you. So we send assign lead owner, send notification, create the sales opportunity in the pipeline. And then we create a task for the team member. Now they need to go in and they need to manage the sales opportunity. And what better way to segue into the sales pipeline than that? Let's take a look at the sales pipeline and how we can leverage the CRM functionality to better manage our sales processes. So first, SharpSpring enables the user to create as many pipelines as you like. So you're not limited to one or two. There's no additional for cost for new pipelines. Each SharpSpring instance can carry as many pipelines as you'd like, and each pipeline can carry hundreds of opportunities. And when I say opportunity, that's the term we use to refer to any chance to sell a product or service, right? So it's an opportunity to sell. So as we can see here, each pipeline can have multiple stages, and each of these stages is customizable and is really meant to reflect what your sales process looks like. The pipeline can be sorted by user, it can be filtered by time, and also can enable us to understand each stage of our sales process and where each relationship is at, so we can manage those appropriately. So this is obviously an example pipeline that I created for demo purposes, right? So we see things like Jim's Plumbing or Dr. Pogge Incorporated or C-Lab Agency. Obviously, these are not real, but it gives you a representation of visualization of how this starts to work. So if I'm the salesperson, I go into my sales pipeline and I say, okay, I have 7 different opportunities to sell this month. Well, my relationship with growth agency is still in our initial stage. It is in the inquiry stage. Now, it is very valuable, but it's in the initial stage. Whereas my relationship with Dr. Pogge Incorporated, the good doctor, is in the order stage. Little side note, my wife is a doctor in psychology. So I created Dr. Pogge Inc. as my example, but also so that later on when she's ready to have her own website, I already own the domain. So that's why you guys see Dr. Pogge Inc. there. So, yeah, I don't know if you guys knew that. Yeah, but my wife is a doctor. That's actually why I moved to Florida in the first place.
Oh, no, I really thought it was you. So we were like, oh, nope. Okay, he's getting creative.
No, I'm not that arrogant. I'm a little arrogant, but not that arrogant. So once we've seen the different opportunities, the next thing is understanding the opportunity card. What data do we store here? Well, this is where we come in. We're going to store the value of the opportunity. We're going to store when we expect the opportunity to close. You'll see all of your tasks that are assigned to your leads. They also will be assigned to your opportunities. So as a individual user in the application, my job gets easier and easier, right? My tasks telling me what to do are associated with my leads. They're associated with my opportunities. My job is getting really simple. All I need to do is go and do my job. So we have our tasks in here. We also will see which marketing campaigns have driven these folks in. We'll see which pipeline we're in, what stage of the pipeline, what our probability to close is based off of that stage. And then similarly to our lead records, we have the ability to create unlimited custom fields. Now, this is the overview tab. There's also, just as importantly, our contacts tab. Contacts tab lists each member of the account that's associated with it, so that we can make sure that we're not just communicating to the primary contact, but we know all of the contacts that might be involved in this relationship. So this is the contacts tab, and the solution will make suggestions about other people that might be related to this account as well in this opportunity. Then you'll note next the communication tab. The communication tab gives us an overview of all of the back and forth with the leads associated with this opportunity. This is really powerful from a sales perspective. In a one-stop shop, I can understand how we've communicated to somebody with marketing content, with my logged calls, as well as my one-to-one communication. So this gives me a really easy tool to use to understand, again, how have we communicated? And let's say I step out of the office for a week, but this opportunity is ready to close. Well, I need Armin to step in and help pick up the pieces here, right? I need to make sure that this doesn't fall off because I'm out of the office on holiday. So now Armin can easily hop in and take a look and say, oh, here's all of Tim's communication. We can see all the contacts. We have all the other information. And finally, and most importantly, our notes. What is the relationship without the notes and understanding where we're at, right? Well, the notes are important so we can ensure that we are always following up. we know what the status is, and we know what the specific needs of a client are. So in my example here, Dr. Pogge Incorporated had a great demo. We are very excited about their exam. They're very excited about the application. These are their needs. That's important to ensuring that this relationship can move forward in a very smooth fashion. All right, the final feature, and then we'll open it up to Q&A. I know I've been seeing the Q&A popping up all over the place. So let's get into the final feature, and then I'll let you guys ask your questions. I know they're burning. And that final feature is going to be some of the reporting, right? This is how we tie it all together. So SharpSpring has a lot of different reports. And when I was trying to think of what report to show off for today, I was actually really struggling because there's a lot of different reports to go through, and we could really spend about 30 minutes on reports alone. So I decided to go with a campaign attribution report. And this really starts to help tie things together. So what we can see in this report are all the contacts that have been added over the last given 30 days, all of the total leads that have been qualified of those contacts that are being added, all of the opportunities that we're creating, all of our sales lost, all of our total revenue, and then just as importantly, what contacts are being added by what campaign, right? So as new contacts are coming in, what initiatives drove them? We talked about ROI, and we talk about the power of end-to-end marketing. This is where it ties in. It's understanding how my campaigns are leading to new contacts, how my campaigns are leading to new opportunities. And that's really where SharpSpring, I think, starts to really shine. I mean, you've seen a lot of different features today. That's how we really start to shine, is that we can tie these various initiatives to every closed won deal. So at the end of the day, you as a organization understand where your dollars are being spent and how effective those dollars are, so that you can make better decisions moving forward and understanding which marketing initiatives should we continue to expend our dollars on and which ones should we maybe cut off. You know, I think a big disconnect historically between marketing and sales is that sales doesn't necessarily know what marketing does, and marketing doesn't know if sales are closing the leads that they've worked so hard to create. So now, because it's all in one solution, because it's all tied together, we can actually complete the loop. So that is my presentation, and I think it's time for questions.
Woo!
Fantastic.
Well done, Tim.
Thank you, Tim. This was amazing. Obviously, we are biased, but still believe.
Well, I thought it was amazing. I'm biased too, so
still believe this was amazing. And thank you for the insight. Yeah, I wasn't aware that your wife is a doctor, but well done to you. And
thank you.
Well done.
I'm married above my station. I'm gonna give a lot.
So with this, we would like to invite everybody to ask questions. Ideally via the Q&A feature. There has been 1 or 2 questions running through the normal chat. We'll also pick those up. Anna, I would like to maybe hand over to you again, just to surface those questions then to Tim, so that we can ensure that our audience and our delegates, get those answered.
Okay, so this question is from Nico. Nico asked, what makes this platform better than Hootsuite?
That's a great question. So Hootsuite is a fantastic solution. And, earlier I mentioned that I will never talk badly about another solution. And I know for a fact, actually, my younger brother is using Hootsuite. Now he's using Hootsuite alone because he doesn't need a full marketing automation tool. But what I would say to answer to that specifically is that where Hootsuite is focused on solely social media, we tie all the pieces together. And I think that really is the answer, is that these solutions that are standalone applications are fantastic, but they're very focused on one specific thing, and they don't enable a broad variety of tools. And when you do utilize them in a greater marketing sense, they don't communicate to one another. So Hootsuite is a fantastic tool. I would say that SharpSpring can help by incorporating and tying lead records to social media profiles so that we can use engagement with social media, to trigger automations, to segment our list functionality. And that Hootsuite's not going to give you the ability to do a lot of the other things like the automation, the CRM management, we have a built-in chatbot solution. So that's what I would answer to that. Again, no shade towards Hootsuite, fantastic solution. I think that we provide some of what they provide, and then we expand way beyond it.
Okay. One more question that came in the chat was from Mark. Mark says, how can I become a reseller of SharpSpring in South Africa, South Africa?
That's a great question. Mark, I would advise you to reach out to Armin as a starting point, and Armin can help refer you over to our directors of partnerships.
Okay. Yes. So talk to us. We'll get you the good stuff.
Yeah. Armin knows a couple people over here.
We know people. We know them. A question from the Q&A. This is from Stephanie. How flexible is this service for incorporating offline leads?
Yeah, no, that's a really great question. And thank you for asking it. So it is pretty flexible. It depends on what the offline lead, how you're attracting those offline leads. One thing that I have worked with some customers and partners to do before was to incorporate QR codes, for example. So if I have a mailer and I'm sending out this mailer to all of my various prospects, I can throw a QR code on that someone can go in and scan with their cell phone, and then we can attribute them to that campaign. Or let's say, we're past COVID finally, and we can go do in-person conferences and conventions again. Well, we can set up a booth, for example, where people go to sign in and fill out to get more information, and that fires directly into the solution, as well as it now attributes that person to that campaign where those people came from. So it is very flexible. And it all depends on what the goal is, and working with a member of our team to help accomplish the goal. I think Armin and Ina can both speak to the quality of our team members over here. Obviously, I'm their favorite, but they have worked with, I'm sure, a number of other folks internally that can certainly help answer and help implement. Again, we're here at the end of the day to help our partners, help their customers be successful.
Yes. Another question from Stephanie. She's like, critical, I apologize if I've missed if you covered this in the discussion. It's okay, Stephanie. But does the system allow for leads to be flagged when there is a delay between first touch points and follow-ups?
It's not so much that the lead is being flagged, but a task can be created and assigned to somebody, and that task is reportable to management. So if a task has been created for me to go in and maybe make that next touch, and I haven't done that, my manager can go in and review all of my tasks and say, well, Tim has accomplished in this given time frame 20 tasks, but 30 tasks were assigned to Tim. So there are 10 tasks here that are not being followed up on. Now I need to take some coaching, this as a coaching opportunity to coach Tim and to help him make sure that he's following up. Now, fortunately, my manager never has to do that because I'm great, but you have the example. And everyone, I'm kidding. I know I am human too. I just like to joke.
No, but Tim is really great. I wanted to ask one of these personal questions myself, and I feel like maybe if the audience also found out about this, they'll be like more intrigued. We're able to completely measure each campaign's success. So you can actually see which product. So you will be able to see, right, which products you can remove and which products you can actually keep, and see which ones are doing bad on a digital sphere, right? Or am I catching it differently?
So when I talk about campaign, I'm not so much referring to products, but which efforts to attract people to those products. Now we can associate products to the opportunities. So we can then make sure that as someone is looking to buy a product or service, that I can assign all of my various products to that opportunity. So Tim can buy a t-shirt, some shorts, and some shoes. That's a really bad example, but that's the first thing that came to my mind. But there is the ability to tie a product to the opportunity. The campaign helps us understand what efforts are driving people to make the purchases.
Purchase, yes. So yeah, once again, like what you said, which I really liked, is that marketing doesn't really know what sales does, and what sales doesn't know what marketing does. But now with SharpSpring, we can see what each other person's doing, and if our efforts are doing what they're supposed to do.
Exactly, precisely. Bridge the gap.
Yes. If there's any more questions, now is the time. But those were the last questions that we got, Tim. Right. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Any more?
And you're getting so many compliments in the chats. Like, thanks, Pogge. Great presentation and insights. So people love you.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone, again, for the opportunity to be here. Armin and Aina, it was a pleasure to be here. Thank you. I'm sure everyone's tired of my voice now, so I'm going to hand it over to Aina and let her and Armin wrap up. But thank you guys. Again, I really appreciate it. It was a real honor to be here with you.